So here we have page 420, number 19, and it says this whole trinomial times this polynomial. And what we're going to do when we solve this is we're going to think distributive property, which says A times B times C. And we're going to pretend like this whole piece is A, and then we'll take this and distribute it to each term here. So we're going to multiply this whole trinomial times each term. So I went ahead and did that here. So I took this trinomial and I multiplied it to the first term of this polynomial, which was 4x squared. And then I say plus, and I multiply this trinomial times this whole second term, and I did that right here. And then I say, it's super long, plus, and then I take this whole trinomial and I multiply it to the third term, which was a negative 1/3, and I did that right here, and then I say plus, and I take this whole trinomial and I multiply it to the fourth term, which I did right here. And when I do that to the fourth term, what I notice is that this trinomial will cancel out with this trinomial because these are factors and you can cancel out factors. So I'm actually going to be left with 7 on that fourth term. So now when I go to multiply this out, I'm going to take this 4x squared and I'm going to multiply it to each term of this trinomial. So again, I'm doing distributive property again. So I multiply it here, here, and here to each term. So that was showing my work there. Then on this second one, I needed to multiply the negative 10/3 x to each term here in that trinomial. So I went ahead and I did that out here. So I multiplied each term to negative 10/3 x. And then that third piece right here that we did, I have to take this negative 1/3 and multiply that to each part of the trinomial. And so I did that here. And then on that fourth term, we had seen that these trinomials canceled out and we were left with 7. So now I have this big, long, multiplied out. I'm going to go ahead and do the multiplication, and when I do that, I get 12 times 4 gives me 48, x to the third times x squared gives me x to the fifth. Here I had negative 2x squared times 4x squared, that gives me negative 8x to the fourth. Here I had negative 7 times x times 4x squared, that gives me negative 28x cubed. Here on this piece I had 12x to the third times negative 10/3 x gives me negative 40x to the fourth. Here I have negative 2x squared times negative 10/3 x. That gives me 20/3 x cubed. And here negative 7x times negative 10x over 3 gives me positive, because negative times negative gives me positive, and that's 70/3 x squared. Down here I still have this piece to do, so 12x cubed times negative 1/3 gives me negative 4x cubed, and negative 2x squared times a negative 1/3 gives me 2/3 x squared, and negative 7x times a negative 1/3 gives me a positive 7/3 x, and then we still have that plus 7 piece. Well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole big long thing that I can't fit on one page, and I'm going to go ahead and take it, and I'm going to combine like terms. So I put them in order of largest to smallest exponent, and I did that here. So I had 48x to the fifth. There were no like terms to that. Now I'm going to look for all the x to the fourth. So I have negative 8x to the fourth, and I had a negative 40x to the fourth. So I put those together. Then I had negative 28x to the third, plus 20/3 x to the third, and then over here I had a negative 4x to the third. So I put those all together in a row here. And then I looked for my x squareds, and I had a 70/3 x squared here, and I had a 2/3 x squared here, so I put those together. Then all my x's, I just had a 7/3 x, and then I just had the plus 7. So now I go ahead and I combine like terms, and to do that, well, there wasn't any like terms to the 48x to the fifth, so that stays the same. These two combine to be negative 48x to the fourth. This I have to change into a fraction so that I have a common denominator and can add all these x to the third, so I had to change those to thirds. To do that, I took the 28, I put it over 3, so since I put it over 3, I had to go 28 and multiply that by 3. And the same here. So I wanted negative 4 is the same as negative 12/3. So I put all those to have the same common denominator. I had to do the same here. Those actually already had a common denominator. So now I can go ahead and add everything up, and I end up with 48x to the 5th minus 48x to the 4th minus 76 thirds x to the 3rd plus 72 thirds x squared plus 7 thirds x plus 7. And then what I noticed was, hey, this reduced down to 24. And so here is my final answer.